Hey everybody, hope you are doing good. Let's go over this week. We got a couple big things this week. So I don't know if you remember earlier in the semester, we had a week where it was your first lecture exam and then you had a lab exam both on the same week. We're going to have kind of a similar week this week. Don't let that intimidate you too much because they both deal with muscles. So it's a lot of the same material. The lecture exam, if you remember when we did the skeletal lecture exam, it was mostly like the background information in part one. And then we talked about the skeletal system, like the actual bones, but you didn't have to like visual identification for the lecture exam. Same thing on this. It's going to cover the joints chapter, so know all of that. Part one of the muscular system was mostly the background information. And then part two, what we did last week, that was where we named the individual muscles and what categories they belonged to. So you need to know like which ones are muscles that move the pectoral girdle and which muscles move the arm and which muscles move the fingers and wrists. Like those were the categories that we learned about in part two. And I mentioned that in those videos, so hopefully you watched that. Also, any actions of the muscles that we talked about in the lecture. So like when I told you that the quadriceps femoris group in your legs, that those like extend your lower leg at the knee. All of that would be information you need to know, but the lab list that you had, I'm not going to ask you any origins, insertions, or actions from that list. Just if I talked about it in the lecture, make sure you know that. All right. If you have any questions on that, let me know. But like I said, it's really similar to when we did the skeletal system. You needed to know about the bones for the lecture exam, but you had to do the visual identification for the lab exam. All right. So lecture exam is Monday and Tuesday. It is a little bit shorter. This one, it's going to say that it's 54 questions. There's a matching section, and that has like several parts to it. So it's actually closer to like 65 questions or so. And I mentioned this in the lecture video too, but the steps of the cross bridge cycle, that was like talking about how the actin and myosin combine with each other to cause contraction. Remember, that's going to be a bonus question. So in addition to the Learn Smart bonuses points, you can get a bonus point for that as well, or several bonus points for that as well. All right, so make sure you don't forget about that when you're studying. Then Wednesday is Veterans Day. College is closed. You don't have any tests due in that time. Thursday and Friday is going to be the lab exam 4, and that's the muscle lab exam for muscles of the head, shoulders, and arms. All right. Remember on that, you do need to know the visual identification, and you need to know the origin, insertion, and action for each of those muscles. All right. If you go to the lab tab, I know you can read all this, but if you go to the lab tab over to the left in Blackboard, you've got that list that we've been going through of all the muscles of the head, neck, head, shoulders, and the arms. So you'll have pictures of the models. You'll have to name the muscle, and then there will be additional questions. So let's say like you had to name, there's a big sticker on the model right here, and it says number 1. It would say name this muscle. So that would be frontalis. You might see a follow-up question that says like, what is the origin of this muscle, or what is the action of this muscle? So just make sure you know all of that material as well. Okay. All right. Last thing. So that's it for this week. 2 tests. That's it. Lecture exam on Monday and Tuesday, lab exam Thursday and Friday. And then just a heads up, next Friday, November 20th, that is the last day to withdraw from your fall classes. So what I want you to do right now, go ahead and check your average and see how you're doing in the class. And if you have any questions about that, let me know. But definitely after this week, as soon as you get done with this week's exams, look at your average again and see where you're at. So if you are not passing at this point, let me know. Get in touch with me and let me figure out what you're going to have to score from here on out to finish with a passing grade. All right. If you're getting into a certain program, or you're going to apply for a certain program, and you know that it's going to take like at least an A or a B to get into that program, and you're not there, let me know. Same thing. I can just kind of figure out and say, all right, if you want to finish with a B, this is what you need to score from here on out. All right. So let me know about that. After next Friday, it's too late to withdraw. It's too late to change anything, and you're kind of stuck in the class, and you get whatever final grade you end up with. So just any questions, please let me know now. while we can kind of discuss. If you're doing great, a lot of you are doing awesome in this class, keep doing what you're doing. But if you are in that kind of borderline position or you need to be doing better, feel free to get in touch with me. Ways that you can improve your grade, other than obviously, at this point, hopefully you've got studying and all of that down pat. But remember, we just had, and this could cut both ways, we had lab kit assignments that were due a few weeks ago. That was 50 points worth of material that could really help you out. And y'all did really good on those. Everyone who turned one in did really well. If you didn't do those, that was a 0 out of 50, and that really hurt your grade. That's like missing one of the lab exams as far as points goes. So we have 2 more lab kit assignments due at the end of the semester. Go ahead and start working on those if you have some free time. Like when you finish up the lab exams this week, if you wanted to go ahead and start looking at the lab kit assignments. These are dissections. To me, that's fun. I really like the dissections, but it might be a little different for you. So you have a brain and an eyeball that you need to dissect, and you're going to label some different structures. Excuse me, label, sorry, some different structures on there. So just give yourself plenty of time, start working on that. And then also, if you'll remember, the lab kit came with 5 different assignments. One of them was really detailed. It dealt with organic chemistry and like some of the stuff we talked about way back in like chapter 2. And I made that a bonus assignment. So if you do that, you can get 25 bonus points. That's a significant amount. And it's because the lab takes a little while to do, but that can really help you out if you need it. All right. So let me know if you have any questions, and I will get back with you. Thanks.